Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bernike Realita Welove Prakosa. Today, I will present my research titled "The Influence of Gender Roles and Power Dynamics in Cleo's Relationship with Frank in Cocomeller's Cleopatra and Frankenstein." So, this research explores how gender roles and power dynamics are portrayed in Cocomeller's novel Cleopatra and Frankenstein. The study highlights Cleo's struggle to maintain autonomy and identity within her relationship with Frank, dynamics shaped by societal expectation and traditional gender roles. Cleo embodies the tension between modern feminist ideals and conventional expectation, offering a rich ground for analysis. By examining this dynamic, we aim to uncover how systemic inequalities are reflected and perpetuated in the relationship. Next is this study addressed two key research questions. The first is how do Cleo and Frank gender roles influence their relationship in Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Cocomellers? And the second question is how do power dynamics shape Cleo's relationship with Frank in Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Cocomellers? So to answer this, the research objectives are to analyze how traditional and non-traditional gender roles are portrayed in the character of Cleo and Frank, delving into the nuances of how societal expectations shape their individual identities and interaction. So, in their the societal influences, so the influential societal influence shaping these roles. And the second is to examine how power is distributed, negotiated, and exercised by each character, revealing the underlying tension and strategies they employ to maintain or shift the balance. Next is the significance of the research. This research holds both theoretical and practical significance. So the theoretical is the research has the potential to impact theoretical framework in feminist literature by providing new insight and application of existing concepts. So it applies Simone de Beauvoir concept of the other to explore clear marginalization and again agency. This enriched feminist literary criticism by analyzing how modern works like Cleopatra and Frankenstein critique patriarchal construction. And then patriarchally, patriarchally, so it also has practical application in understanding gender relationship today, offering valuable perspective that could inform various fields and practices. This finding can inform counseling practices, education, and discussion on equality in contemporary relationship. The next is previous study. Uh, the research draw on key studies such as Simone de Beauvoir, The Second Sex. It introduced the concept of the other, which is foundational to understanding Cleo marginalization and struggle for agency in her relationship with Frank. And then the second is Judith Butler, Gender Trouble. It examines the performativity of gender, providing insight into how Cleo and Frank behaviors may reinforce or disrupt societal gender norms. And then a study like Locott and Hansen it highlights power negotiation in relationship, offering parallels to the dynamics and cultural variation in gender norms, relevant to Cleo and Frank differing background. And then study like Blackstone emphasize the societal structure that perpetuate gender expectation and power imbalance, which are central to the novel themes. The next is theoretical foundation. So this research is grounded in Simone de Beauvoir feminist theory, particularly her concept of the other. So, de Beauvoir argued that women are historically positioned as the other in relation to men, which reinforces systemic inequality. This framework helps analyze Cleo's role in the relationship as she navigates her identity while being subjected to traditional expectation. Also explore how Cleo and Frank interaction reflects societal construct of gender and how it's distributed, negotiated, and exercised in their relationship. So the next is theoretical framework. So this research explore the influence of gender roles and power dynamics in Cleo relationship with Frank. Uh, The primary framework used in this study is Simone de Beauvoir feminist theory, particularly her concept of the other as outlined in the second sex. So, we could look at the framework. Uh, this theoretical framework diagram is designed to outline the systematic steps taken to analyze the influence of gender roles and power dynamic in the novel. So the diagrams show the flow of the research process, starting from the novel, and then identifying the problems, and then applying Simone de Beauvoir theory, um, and her relation, and then applying Simone de Beauvoir theory of the other to Cleo character and her relationship with Frank. So the research begins with Cleopatra and Frankenstein as the material object, and then the novel provides the primary material to analyze gender roles and power dynamic within Cleo and Frank relationship. The next step is an in-depth reading of the novel. This allows for a deeper understanding of the character, theme, and significant moment to reflect Cleo's struggle. After reading main problems, the three main problems are identified as clear marginalization and loss of agency within her relationship, and then the power imbalance that favors Frank, which affect Cleo independence, and then Cleo position as the other as theorized by Simone de Beauvoir. The theoretical frameworks apply Simone de Beauvoir's concept of the other to analyze Cleo experience. This theory helps explain how Cleo is positioned as an outsider to the patriarchal norms and social expectation. The analysis focuses on three key aspects. The first is Cleo's personal struggle to reclaim her identity and agency, and then the influence of societal norms and patriarchal structure on Cleo's role. And the last is the emotional and psychological effect of power imbalance on Cleo development and choices. And finally, the research reached a conclusion that answers how gender roles and power dynamic shape Cleo's identity and her ability to assert agency. Next, the next is methodology. So, the first methodology is research design. This study adopts a qualitative approach within a descriptive analytical method. This approach is ideal for exploring the complex dynamics of gender roles and power structure in literary works. And the second is form of data. The material object is Coco Mellor's novel Cleopatra and Frankenstein, published in 2022, while the Pharma project includes the storyline and thematic content of the novel, focusing on gender roles, power imbalance, and their effect on Cleo agency and identity. The third is data sources. Primary data comes from the novel itself, including dialogues and character action. Secondary data includes academic research on feminist theories, as well as critical analysis of literary representation of gender and power. And the last is the fourth is data collection technique. It is close reading. So, through examination of textual evidence to identify themes of gender and power, and then literature review, it's reviewing feminist theories and relate research to build a strong contextual foundation. And the last is data processing, analysis, and interpretation technique. This involves systematic reading and categorization of textual evidence, analysis through the lens of feminist theory, and validation of finding to ensure alignment with research objectives. The ultimate aims is to uncover how clear identity and agency are shaped within a relationship and how gender roles and power dynamics are portrayed. And then and last is the reference. This is the view of my reference. So in conclusion, this research reveals how clear relationship with Frank embodies the tension between traditional and modern gender roles. By applying the Bova concept of the other, the study highlights the persistent influence of patriarchal norms on women autonomy and identity. This research not only contributes to feminist literary criticism but also provide practical insight to addressing gender expectation and power imbalance in contemporary relationship. That's it for me. Thank you so much for the attention.